Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be. I was just sitting here this morning and getting ready to do my little podcast thing that I have started to do. What I wanted to, I've been trying to figure out exactly how I want to do this. I want to do things from a Christian view. I'm a practicing Catholic. I'm a practicing Baptist. I'm a practicing Presbyterian. I'm a practicing non-denominational. I'm a practicing Christian that just follows the Bible. I love, as I said in the earlier podcast, I love my Catholic faith, but I look at following the Bible as, if you're a Jesus-based church, then I'm a practicing part of your church, and I really honestly believe that. So I do a thing on Facebook. If you're not friends with me on Facebook, you can certainly do that. I post nothing but positive stuff on there, stuff to hopefully make people smile. But I also post a prayer on there every day. I read the Bible every day, and I strongly urge people to do that. There's your church right there between the covers of the Bible. There's your church. And you can take that church anywhere you go. And when you go with like-minded people to a service, whether it's a service in the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church or the non-denominational church or wherever it is, you go there not to worship the building, but to be with like-minded people and kind of recharge your spiritual battery, so to speak. But I read the Bible every day, and I bookmark particular verses that I like, and I save them. And then what I do is I go back. I have them. I've read the Bible now. I'm on my 9th time reading the Bible all the way through. It's really easy to do. I have a app called YouVersion on my phone, and it lays out a Bible in a year. And it takes about 15 minutes a day, and in a year you'll read the whole Bible. And I've been doing that for my 9th year doing it. So it's pretty easy, and your readings of the Bible increase quicker than you know. So I pick out a verse, I read it, and then I just kind of write my thoughts down. I am not somebody that says Jesus tells me to say stuff, because I really don't buy into that. I think people have thoughts, and sure, if you're Jesus based, your thoughts are going to reflect him. But I don't really. I'm not, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. But I just don't. I've had people tell me, Jesus. I had a woman tell me, Jesus told her that her and I were supposed to be together. We were supposed to experience the true love of a man and woman. And I looked at her, I said, well, I wish Jesus would let me in on that, because I don't see it. And it never happened. So, and I told her, I said, Jesus told me to go to Subway today. I mean, that's how ridiculous sometimes I think that is. So, anyway, I read the Bible, I pick out a verse. I'm going to give you an example of what I do. I read the verse, and this one's from 1 Corinthians 10:21. So it says, you cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table of the Lord and the table of demons. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21. And then I just start writing, and what comes to me is just, it's what I don't hear the Lord speaking to me. I don't hear voices in my head telling me, that I need to write this. Because I believe in Jesus, and because I'm religiously based, I just start writing. And so I wrote to that. I always start off with a prayer for you and all those you hold near and dear to you. That's the first line I use in my journaling, because I send this out to people. And I want them to know that I'm praying for them, and I'm praying for all the people that they hold near and dear to them. And then I just start writing, and I put, wow, Christians beware. because a lot of people, I'll just read it to you and then I'll break it down. I said, wow, Christians beware. Do not be a CINO, Christian or Catholic in name only. You cannot pick and choose what parts of the Bible fit your lifestyle or get you votes. If Jesus said it, you cannot twist his words to allow your sin to be okay. It simply does not work that way. And if you do not take a stand against the evil in this world, you become part of it. Just attending a church service or mass on Sunday is not enough to save you. John the Baptist called the Pharisees broods of vipers. Think about that. They were religious scholars of those times, vipers and snakes, who represented in the Garden of Eden Satan. Don't be a Pharisee. And then I put a heart Jesus. If Jesus said it, I believe it. All will be well. May God help you to trust in your faith that you have in him. Learn to forgive as he forgives and love as he loves. May you find his peace on the path that he has placed you on. Amen. Prayers for this country, this world, and life. I pray something great happens to you today. Prayers and every blessings. Every blessing. And then I put J3:16, which is John 3:16. But, to break it down, I put Christians beware, and I'm including myself in that. You cannot play both sides of the field. And I put don't be a CINO or Kino, Christian, Catholic in name only, because I see a lot of that. I see it, Biden claims to be Catholic, but then votes for abortion. That's Christian and it's a Catholic in name only. You cannot take something that is so prevalent in the Bible and do that to it and think and call yourself Christians. So you can't pick parts of the Bible that kind of twist them to make them work in your favor and call yourself Christians. That's part of what gets me in trouble, because I stand up for the things I believe in and things in the Bible. Pro-life, I'm a hugely pro-life. Now, does that mean I hate people that are pro-choice? No, it doesn't mean that at all. I have friends that are pro-choice. And, if that topic comes up, I take a stand against it, and I let them know that I am pro-life, and I think abortion is murder. If you kill something, if you stop a beating heart, you're killing something. The same way with homosexuality, or, I have tons of friends that are gay. And do I hate them? No, I don't hate them at all. You take President Trump out of the mix and act like he's never existed. Do I like Biden? No, I absolutely don't. And that's why when people posted after he became, after he gained the presidency, everybody was saying, "Oh, I support him. I'm not going to be like those people that don't." Well, if you do that, then you're promoting evil. If you're supporting the things that you stand against just to be politically correct, then you are standing with the evil that they represent. So yeah, I do not like Joe Biden. I think he's evil. I think he's a liar. And these are all things that have been proven for me. Maybe not for other people, but for me, it's been proven. So I don't like those kind of people. It's not that Joe Biden, I think that his actions define who he is. Who he is, I don't mind. But when your action defines you, then it takes you into a place where if I don't support it, I can't support it. If I don't stand behind what you believe in, then I can't support you. So, and I'm not saying that this is a political conversation at all. It's moral for me. It's not political. It's at all. It's moral. Joe Biden stands for all the stuff that I don't believe, that I don't stand for. Now, do I hate people that voted for him? Do I not talk to people that that think he's doing a good job? Absolutely not. I have friends that voted for him. I have good friends that voted for him. I have people very close to me that voted for him. I still talk to him. I don't say anything bad about him. I don't think they made a wise choice, but that's just me. It doesn't mean anything at all. You have to answer for the things that you do and the things that you stand behind. I have nothing at all to do with that. God's not going to say, when you're standing in front of him, he's not going to say, just a hypothetical, he's not going to say, oh, you voted for Biden, and Biden was for abortion, and I don't like that. So, but what did Larry have to say about it? He's not going to say that at all. He's going to judge you for what you stand up and believe in, just like he's going to judge me for what I believe and what I stand for. Now, am I a perfect person? No, I'm a Christian, and because I call myself a Christian, I realize that I sin, and I sin every day. Whether it's calling into work and saying I'm not feeling good, and then staying home and working out and going to grab something to eat at my sister's restaurant or whatever, that's a lie. It's a sin. So. Yeah, I sin every day, and I've done things in my life before now that I just cringe at, because I've asked forgiveness, thank God, and I realize that when you do that, it's erased. So I'm really, really happy about that, because if I had to answer for the things I did, I'd be pretty nervous about it. But because I've asked for forgiveness, and that's the beauty of Christianity. If you are sincere and you ask forgiveness, you will receive that, and it's gone. But when Jesus did that, when Jesus forgave the woman that committed adultery, which was what really strikes me as odd is the guy wasn't there. The guys back then kind of got off with nothing, but the woman was going to be stoned. And Jesus was one of my favorite things in the Bible. He stood, there's two of my favorite things in the Bible, and the one is this. He knelt down and started writing in the dirt. And when he did that, people, and all he said was, let the one without sin cast the first stone. And people walked away one by one, so, supposedly starting with the oldest and then trickling down. And it's been said that he was writing people's sins one by one in the sand. And when they saw their sin, they walked away. But what did he say to her? He said, go and sin no more. And I think that's the key to forgiveness. When you ask forgiveness, you have to make a conscious, deliberate effort not to do that again. So if you are a drinker and you drink and you get violent when you drink and you do bad things when you drink, and then when you wake up the next day, you're like, boy, God, please, I'm never doing that again. When you make a promise to God, you better mean it, because if you don't, it's not going to bode well for you. So when you make a promise to God, you have to make an effort to keep it. Now, I'm not saying also that you can't mess up, but you have to keep getting back on that horse and making it. And if you're making a conscious effort, and I'm telling you, God knows if you're just saying it or if you really mean it. And when you mess up and you really tried, he knows that. I remember in grade school, a teacher in religion saying to me that, saying to the class that, if you could be a horrible person and before you die, if you ask forgiveness, you will go to heaven. And I said to him, I asked him, I go, so I can do whatever I want and be rob banks, and I was 8th grade then, rob banks and do all these horrible things, and then before I die, just say I'm sorry for all that, and I'll go to heaven. And he said, yeah, but do you really want to take that chance? And I said, what do you mean? He goes, And then he said, you know how many people die in car wrecks and they're gone and they don't have a chance to do that? And that really stuck with me. I'm 61 years old and I still remember that. And so I try to keep my slate as clean as possible at all times, because nobody knows the time when he comes back and he takes people in the rapture up to the cloud and leaves the people that have not accepted him here. If you write, you watch, there's a movie on YouTube called The Rapture, or The True Story of the Rapture or something. I just watched it, and it's alarming, that what's going to happen then. And so, quickly, I wanted to keep these around 15 minutes, and I'm right over 15 minutes now. So, but the other favorite Bible story that I like is in the fire, when they throw Daniel. Oh, wait, not Daniel. I can't remember who it is now. But when they throw him in the fire, and that's another thing you'll find with me. I read the Bible, but I cannot quote verses. I cannot go, and as Isaiah 30, verse 4, I can't do that. I know the stories, and I know who they are. But when he got thrown into the fire, when they came back and checked on him, there were 4 people in the fire, and the king said, "Didn't we throw 3 in?" And they said, "Yeah." Well, I see 4 in there, and they're dancing. Jesus is with you in the fire of life every day, and when you realize that, and when you know it, then it becomes part of your everyday life, and makes the things that you go through so much easier to take. Daniel was in the lion's den, by the way. I'm gonna, in the next one, I'm gonna tell you who it is, because I can't remember the guy's name now. And I promised myself when I did these things that I was not going to edit them, that I was not going to go back and change anything. I was just going to talk. And like I said before, I'm just talking. God is not speaking through me. God is not telling me what to say. Because I'm religiously based and I believe in God and I believe in Jesus, it is part of my daily thinking. But I'm not blessed in that way, and I'm not one that really believes that. So, anyway, that's the story. So, have a great, great day, and hopefully you'll come back and listen again at a later time. God bless you all. I always like to end with the prayer of St. Michael the Archangel, the commander-in-chief of God's undefeated army. Defend us in our daily battles. Be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of Satan. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all evil spirits who prowl throughout this world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen.